Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Senator Southworth. Here. Representative Lawrence. Pat Abel.
Here.
Rocky Adkins. Charles Byers. Jacqueline Coleman. Katie Comstock. Carol Henderson. John Hicks. Brian Hicks. Patsy Jackson.
Here.
Holly Johnson. Ryan Neff. Danny Rhodes. Senator Wheeler. And Representative Tate presiding.
Thank you very much. So obviously, we don't have a quorum, right? Correct. That's correct. Yes, we're too short. Okay. So what we'll do is for the first matter of business and members being given the opportunity, have you been given off to review the minutes before the meeting? Do I have a motion and a second to approve the prior meeting? Can we do that, or do we have to wait for the quorum? The whole section, all right, the section, and then go down to section 3 then? All right, so the two documents before the board today include the summary of the board's specific project recommendations and the project categories of maintenance, renovation, IT, and new construction, and also the draft statewide capital improvement plan for any discussion and final actions. Do we have any discussion? Yes, sir. Director Hicks.
Thank you. Just one, the communication that staff had sent out earlier today or yesterday on the maintenance pool policy, I concur with the approach on that change.
Thank you very much. I think I have a question. So there were some things like individual things for like the individual CTCSs. Mm-hmm. Were all those rolled up into one under the KCTCS?
So are you talking about all of their projects?
All of their projects.
Yes. So at the end of the draft statewide capital improvement plan, there's a comprehensive proposed project list, and that's identified by agency. So at the end of the document, there's all of the community and technical college, their submission is represented there. Those are just your specific project recommendations, your 15 within each category.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Senator Southworth, you had asked something, I think, in the last meeting along the same lines. It was very similar. I can't remember exactly what the topic was. Do you recall what that topic was? It was in regards to, I don't think it was aviation, but it was something similar to that.
Along the lines of what exactly?
Everything being grouped together. Another topic being of all the items that were requested, all the funding being requested.
It may have been the fact we were discussing our scoring sheets and all of the different colleges had their independent requests, and then CPE had its overarching umbrella recommendation, and then they were suggesting doing it by formula instead of piecemealing. So then we were trying to figure out, well, if we kill our 15 items for our votes with 15 individual items or college-wides, or so we all my recollection is we collectively decided, let's not score every school separately. Let's just recommend CPE's formula so that everybody gets something, they can decide what they want to do with it, and we can score other independent projects for the state recommendation.
I think that's right. And so that appears to be what occurred. Okay, perfect. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions in regards to the draft recommendation?
So when we get a quorum, would we need to adopt that amendment that Senator Southworth?
Yes, you can adopt that amendment to the draft and then take action on the draft as amended. Yes. And if you all would like, I can walk through kind of the contents of the draft statewide capital improvement plan.
That would be very good.
Okay. So if you flip to the last tab of your meeting packet that has our full draft, I'm just going to walk through the table of contents, which is page 3 of 145. First, as you can see, there's a summary. As you recall, at our last meeting in September, we discussed the summary. There's some charts, historical charts in that section, also a pie chart that represents the total requests by agency. That was within the summary section. It also discusses the total combined value of projects submitted to the system and the number of projects. Next section is the policy recommendations, and this is, as we also discussed at the prior meeting, you have 3 separate policy recommendations, one for CPE, one for maintenance pool, and trying to recall the last, budget reserve trust fund. Sorry, I missed the first one. And then after those sections, those were updated per the language that was discussed and approved at the prior meeting. Following that are your specific project recommendations, and that's they just include the full list of 15 within each project category, and also a brief description pulled from the capital planning system that this agency submitted describing the project. And then there's also a status of major state-funded construction projects. We have a quarterly reporting system that's used by various state agencies that give the project update of each general fund project. So we updated that as of October 1st, and so you can see the status of all those major state-funded projects. And then lastly, in the large portion of this document is the comprehensive listing of proposed projects. This is every project submitted, and they are split between general fund request and then other fund sources. So any fund source not general fund or road fund, they're broken out between those 2 categories throughout each agency. And then at the end, of course, we have our appendices. We have our list of statutes that govern the board. I included the scoring matrix and revised scoring process, a description of how that worked for this planning period. And then also the Commonwealth Office of Technology and CPE's 2 recommendations, their letters and listing their list and their description of their processes if applicable. And that's the meat and potatoes of it. I think Senator Southworth has a question.
Yes, ma'am. Senator Southworth.
I do remember I had a question on page 21 on our list of what we all ended up voting on, our highest scored items. The second item is Kentucky State University's Asset Preservation Projects Pool, and I was trying to figure out, I think this may have been the only one, or if not, there were 1 or 2 maybe that sneaked through. We were talking about not having these on our piecemeal list. Then we had like one that kind of comes down on the piece. So I don't know if that was a failure of us as the members to not score right, but it kind of looks weird. And I'm just wondering, what do we do about that?
Yeah, these recommendations were total scores. So, despite the discussion at the previous meeting, some members still scored that project, and it was included in the recommendations.
Oh, we have a quorum now. Okay, very good. Yes, sir.
I would move that we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Great. Thank you very much. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any objections, any member objections? All right, great. Thank you. The minutes will stand approved.
And then you can proceed to the action on the draft if you want.
If we have no more discussion regarding the draft, just want to give everybody ample time to review that.
I can go ahead and make a motion to approve the amendment to the draft. Get that out of the way.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second. All right. Any discussion or concerns? Any objection? All right. Thank you very much. That the amendment will stand. All right. Do we have a motion to accept the draft as it stands? As amended. That's correct. Yes, sir. As amended. Thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you very much. Any objections? right, then we will accept the draft as amended.
And we'll need to do a roll call vote on this
Okay.
one.
Then, per Liz, we need to do a roll call vote. So, Madam Secretary, will you please do the roll call?
Senator Southworth. Representative Lawrence. Pat Abel.
Yes.
Rocky Adkins. Charles Byers. Jacqueline Coleman. Katie Comstock. Carol Henderson. John Hicks. Brian Hicks. Patsy Jackson. Holly Johnson. Ryan Neff. Danny Rhodes. Senator Wheeler.
Aye.
And Representative Tate.
Aye. Thank you all very much. You know, this being the final meeting, I definitely want to thank each one of the members for your involvement. You know, whenever we ask for the matrix, I think that that's going to end up being a great piece of document for us to use. But as I was going through the process, I realized how much more additional work that actually put on us. I was like, and I asked for this, you know, several of us asked for it, right? But again, I think it's going to be very helpful in the future for us to be able to go back and to use that information. So I appreciate you, your indulgence by doing that for us. So thank you very much. And for obviously developing the recommendations for the final document. Senator Whelan, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, I've enjoyed serving on this committee with the other members, and I think that we've come up with a good plan going forward to try to make our Commonwealth the best example of itself that it can be, and hopefully we'll see what lines out in the budget.
That's exactly right. And of course, it would. I sincerely appreciate the staff and everything that you all have done. You all have made this extremely easy for us, and again, I appreciate what you've done in order to make this a more fruitful process in the future. So, thank you very much. Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Second. Thank you very much. Yay!
All right.
All right.